Welcome to Small Big Wins, a podcast that curates stories of folks who use their courage, caliber, and conviction to transform people's lives. They always look beyond personal gains and strive for the greater good. Their stories often begin with a dream as their only means. Folks who allow the soft lights of their hearts to be their guide, even when circumstances threaten to harden them. Folks who start small but win big. Hi, I'm Harshvardhan Jaju. Let's begin. I'm in conversation with Vaishali today, who is the founder director of D Designs. They are manufacturers of furniture, planters, tiles, sculptures, bags, which are made by upcycling discarded automobile tires. The end product is not only aesthetic, but is also handmade and is super strong. Her company is now just more than 3 years old, and Vaishali's work has already been recognized by none other than PM Modi, Yogi Adityanath, and she has also been bestowed with the most promising 100 women entrepreneurs title. Let's get chatting with Vaishali. Vaishali, welcome.
Thank you, Harsh, for a nice introduction and giving me an opportunity to speak about my company.
Absolutely, not only about your company, but about you also.
Definitely.
Vaishali, any creative process has two aspects. One is the uniqueness of the individual, and the second is the uniqueness of the circumstances which led to that trigger. So we would really like to know, in as much animated detail as possible, what really happened. How did this whole idea, how did this whole creative setting come about?
So I shifted Kanpur in 2017, and that was not my dream place to live, because I come from Rajasthan, from Jaipur, which is a pink city, and then settled in Delhi in metro. And altogether, coming to Kanpur was not my dream to settle in a place where it is known for scrap market. It's known for the pollution. It's known for X many reasons, which was not my cup of tea. But finally, destiny. Finally, I landed in Kanpur, and when I used to move around in Kanpur city, I used to always think about why people are not so much worried about the scrap around, why people are not taking any steps to improvise the city. So I was earlier into a recruitment business, my first company.
Yes.
And somehow I visited a pyrolysis plant where people burn tires and they take out oil out of it. Pyrolysis is a very good activity for end of tires, but provided it is done in a the machine should be appropriate enough to use the tires and condensed manner, so that smoke doesn't come out from the complete process. But this doesn't happen here in UP. So their UP is number one for the pyrolysis plants in India, and that was a trigger point where I realized that something can be done before sending these scrap products to the reactors. Now, what a tire is made up of? Tire is made up of, if you study about it, it's one truck tire, which we are using, truck tire maximum, is made up of almost 84 liters of oil, which is a very, very expensive, and we mine oil. It's a product which has to be meant for other purposes. Then you have natural rubber, which is again an expensive product. Only Kerala is the state which is doing that. And then a lot of chemical synthetic rubber is involved. It takes a lot of effort, manufacturing, energy, emissions to make one tire. Where it ends up in a very low degraded product, which and after any run of 50, 60,000 kilometers, they end up there. So in between, can we utilize those tires? It is good enough to utilize that material into some of the creative product or some other product which can be utilized in the industrial processes or in road manufacturing or anything. From very beginning, I had a creative mind where I used to always think something different out of the box instead of going in a direction where all maximum people think. So I thought, let's recreate this material, study about this material. Is it safe to use? I incubated my company at IIT Kanpur. We did few testings there on durability, on the VOC, on the safety. And I found the material, and the professor said the material is excellent to work on. I don't know why people are not working so much on this, but there are very few companies who think rubber from tires is not safe after they are scrapped. And we started designing. I made chair out of it. The first chair which was made, I was so excited that, wow, from a scrap, I've created a chair. And that was the trigger point that actually made me move into this area that not even chair, I can make any product now. Chair was the most difficult thing which I've done. So why not to try with different products where I can set an alternative product to plastic, to wood, to metal, anything which is available and newly mined. So that was the trigger point.
And the sculpture which we can see in your background.
So that's see, once you enter into a creative world, it's the process which you take to that particular area. I never thought I'll create a sculpture out of tire. So people around me, when they give me the projects, they motivate me to do something big. You always enter into and try different areas of design. So sculpture was one of the things which I tried, and it came out so well that it's now been there. There are various sculptures. We have created a complete theme park in Kanpur, which is known as the Animal Kingdom from scrap tires. And we have 6-7 sculptures there, swings over there, and people are enjoying. And it's an outdoor thing and an alternative to any fiber, any metal sculpture there. We're really happy with this park. And in fact, I'm sure even the public is really happy. That's why they're coming daily. And
yeah, I was reading some reviews about this park and the way it was put together by IIT Kanpur and yourself.
Yes. And even Kanpur Nagar Nigam, it was actually funded by Kanpur Nagar Nigam.
Yeah. So tell us, what is your background? Because one is, of course, the idea which comes, but then converting this idea into a product, it must require certain processes. It must require a manufacturing bent of mind. So what do you really do with this rubber? And what is your background that you became successful doing this?
See, I'm a graduate and nothing on terms of, I have not done any course in designing. I'm not into product designing from before 2017. It was just it was just because I visited a place and I did not like that place, and that made me think what I can do with the rubber. That made me, every morning I used to go to scrap market, learn from those people, with puncture walas, with so many people around. Oh. And I would say my research was not in a lab, in a AC lab. It was there on roads with the people who actually daily work on this rubber upcycling, or they cut the rubber and send it to different areas. So I've given my 6 months into this research on roads with those people, where in a market where normal people doesn't feel like even going. And when you create something out of scrap and it comes out so well, when people appreciate about that product, when people recognize that product in the market and it's unique, innovative and alternative to that product, that was all my learning initially. I've never been into manufacturing process. I was from a corporate. I was sitting in our AC office recruiting for the corporate world for .com industries. I never thought I'll enter into a manufacturing world. I'll handle these labor. I'll handle these staff. I don't know. I actually I didn't realize that the process of building a manufacturing company would my passion would take me to that area. But yes, the trigger point was only my passion to create something different out of scrap and save those tires to enter into area which is actually not can we can reach that area after 10-15 years after utilizing and giving a redesigning a new life to that particular product.
The more I think about what you are doing, it is such a perfect example of conscious capitalism. And you know, you tick all the boxes: reduce, recycle, reuse. So generally, you know, these are slogans which have been put up in different organizations, and probably one element of recycling may be working over there. Reduce and reuse is far away. So I see here that all the elements are being ticked. You talked about that from beginning, you have had a creative mind. And you have been thinking out of the box always. So what is the story behind this creative mind?
So in my family, when any birthday used to come up or any anniversary used to be there of my anybody close, I used to make different cards, different very small, at very small age, I used to gift, and all handmade. I used to take, sometimes it used to take 1 month to create only one single card, and we used to pack it and give it. And I'm from a joint family, so many people involved in making some giving some different idea. We used to involve and evolve around that particular product, and that was always my creative area. So creating stuff out of whatever is available. We were like, not that we are procuring stuff from the market to make that particular card or a gift, but we used to only procure the products which are available in the house. At early days was not like we did not have privilege to move out and buy these products, but yes, whatever was available in the house, we used to just create product out of it and used to gift to our so that was one of the thing which was my hobby. Then I usually when I started this company, before that I used to join those metal scrap, weld it from the local market and give to my family members and friends. So this small things we used to do in the house, and that what as a hobby it came out as a business.
Yeah, you know, I'm just thinking of saying that how beautifully this productive potential which you have had, right, since a very young age, how beautifully it has been rewarded by divinity itself.
Yes. So see, it requires a lot of I would say every day for a person to get up and go for this kind of work, which is really difficult. Any scrap conversion into a utility product, and such utility product which is accepted by the people, they pay for it. Whenever money comes out from the pocket for a product, that means that product is worth utilizing. So and believe me, it takes lot of energy and lot of effort to convince people to buy such product and pay for such products. It's not, at least in India, where it's a price sensitive market, you'll have to convince that this product is far better what you are currently utilizing, and replace with a sustainable and an eco-friendly product. So
yeah, absolutely. And all these are handmade products.
Yes, these are all handmades. We have trained the local. I had a space in Kanpur where initially I started with 3 people there. Whatever I learned from the scrap, like whenever I used to learn, whatever I used to learn from the scrap material, I used to teach those my staff. And thereafter, after 1 month of all the experiments, we used to make a product. That's how I created a small catalog to start with. And gradually, when I was we posted there on different social media and on Amazon, and this how the company came into picture.
And so far in the last 3 years of your journey, how many tires have you used?
Almost 1,200 tons, I would say. We have converted 1,200 tons of tires, and if we come up with any of these theme park projects with tires, definitely we'll be consuming tons and tons of tires. One chair which we are making is almost of 25 to 28 kgs.
Okay.
And we are not using any kind of external material to make that chair. No iron, no wood, nothing. So if you're talking about 25 kgs, that 25 kgs is completely tire.
Okay.
And one tire, if they're 1 kg, if it is burnt, the conversion is almost 3 times of toxic gases you're sending to the environment. So 25 kgs, if you're buying, you're saving 75 kgs of toxic, harmful gases to enter into the environment.
Phenomenal.
So any buyer who purchases even a planter, which is almost 8-10 kgs, a large planter, then they are saving almost 30 kgs there. So this we spread as a message that what you have saved and what you have bought. You have bought something which is saving the environment. Otherwise, it will end up somewhere in the factory or illegally dumped or illegally burned.
And this kind of furniture would have a very, very long life, isn't it?
Yes. So the durability of the furniture, because durability of tire, when you can see that it's the toughest material to work on, and durability of the material is what makes the product excellent. If I only talk about chair, the elasticity of rubber with the nylon thread, which is there inbuilt in the tire, makes the product perfect to sit on. Even if you don't put any kind of cushion, it's automatically the natural cushion is there on the chair.
Absolutely.
Then extreme -50 to +50 degree of centigrade, the snowfall, extreme rainfall, the beach areas, you talk about any extreme weather condition, it can sustain in that particular environment. Then the comfort, the durability, the sustainability, obviously, and with the extreme, the sturdiness, we call it a sofa chair because it's not lightweight, it's a heavyweight chair. The planters, which we are selling like anything, again, they're very good for the plants because of the warmth of the rubber, which automatically provides. All these properties make the product automatically a natural product to use in replacement of any product which is there.
Right. And how do you see the future now with your company? And because it seems to me that this kind of product can have, India-wide or even global acceptability, and organizations like yourself could be created across the country, probably.
Yes. So earlier, when I was the name of the company we kept as D Designs. So I was not focusing only. I never thought I'll only focus on the tires. I thought any scrap material can be converted into a very utility product. So the idea was to convert scrap into a utility product and sell the product, design the product, redesigning was the idea.
Right.
That's why the name kept was D Designs. But after working on rubber after entering into this tire world, I could not move out from this material because the material is excellent to work on, frankly. So when I create one product, automatically the second inquiry comes up, and that triggers my mind. Why not this? This can be created. Let's figure it out, do some research, do some product development, do some sampling, and make something out of rubber again. So there are various things which we can do with the tires. that is one of the reason I am currently sticking to this particular material. And maximum whatever we can create out of rubber, that's the idea. And show, create awareness, market, promotions, whatever we can do with the product range. The plan is that pitch the corporates, pitch the government, anybody who feels that sustainability should be there, a key factor for their company, for their area, for their house, any individual, any company, any government. Again, we have that kind of catalog. We can serve all the markets now. And internationally, because if you visit any of the European country or any of the US, they have winter, extreme winters. So no other material which I could see can sustain outside. It's meant, we have started promoting as an outdoor product. Reason is it can sustain in extreme temperatures. So for international market where you have extreme temperature and you cannot keep any other product, this product is excellent to be exported.
You were invited by IKEA.
Yes.
What was their reaction when they came to know about you and when they thought, oh my God, this kind of furniture?
So I was invited at IKEA, and we created small miniatures which I carried in my flight. Small baby chair and small table. I took it in my suitcase, and I was like being called by the new business head of IKEA. He might not give me more than 5 minutes. I was traveling from Kanpur to Bangalore, and 5-minute presentation would be there. That person will not entertain me more than that. But to my surprise, I gave my presentation for 10 minutes, and he convinced me to be the partner IKEA for almost an hour. So the presentation was amazing. It was in 2020, and immediately after that, it was a lockdown. And we cleared 2 rounds. The third round was to send products to Shanghai, their testing center, because that product is completely new. They've never seen such product. They've never tested this product. There is where the market was closed after the COVID. China was closed, and they have only one center. So that was the complete story there. And now again, we're writing to IKEA, so that we can again enter into after whatever the third level of the ladder is. We can start from there again.
And this technology, this whole process, you are patenting it, or have you patented it? What's your plan?
No, we are not patenting this process or the technology. I think it's a designer product. Anybody can make it. In fact, we are planning to tie up with hand in hand self-help groups where we can first-hand processing we can do in the factory. We can send them. So we are starting with small products like the planters, where the females or the families can work together. They stitch the product and they can sell in the local market. So that's the idea, to start with the self-help groups and reach across India, give livelihood, and at least they should learn these products exist and they can sell these products there.
Excellent. This is like conscious capitalism at its peak. Phenomenal. Yes. And what about tire companies? Have you seen any reaction from them so far?
I still yet to have those kind of reactions from the tire companies. My next target, in fact, I would say, till date, it was just testing the market, selling through e-commerce website to the individuals. Now the target is automobile and the tire companies, where they have lot of tires to dispose of.
Yeah.
And they can think of decorating their space with this, they can involve me in involve the designs as a whole in repurposing and redesigning the scrap which is coming out. With the automobile companies, every dealer has a set rule to design their office. So my plan is to pitch those automobile companies, reach to the dealers, decorate their showrooms, their service centers with the products which we are manufacturing, so that they gives that kind of aesthetic to the office that yes, we are in a similar business, similar interior really works for us.
Yeah. No, indeed. I think that should be the way forward, because, bringing this whole element of reducing, recycling, reusing, it just completely ticks all boxes in a very effective manner.
Yes.
So in this journey, I think the first very novel surprise would have been for you when that first chair came out, and it was a eureka moment. But what have been some of the other surprises for you?
So the first surprise was meeting with PM face on face. So I never thought, we did not commercialize the product. It first, from the factory, it reached to a place where I never thought that I'll be meeting the PM Narendra Modi. That was something, a dream come true. And I was really excited. Then after being into, I'm not a media person. So coming all over on the newspapers, in the media, people calling me, saying congratulations for my product. And that was the time where I did not even floated my product in the market. The second thereafter, the things start, it's been hardly 4 years in Kanpur. But what I feel, the kind of warmth which I've received from the city, from the people, and every individual who meets me knows that what I'm doing before me giving my introduction. That is something really, you really feel privileged that you are actually doing something good for the society.
Vaishali, what's the data about old tires today? How is it being used? How much of it is being used back? How much of it is being going into pyrolysis or into landfill?
So as per data, almost 60% of tires are illegally used, burned, and either it's the most unorganized market. Only 40% we can see that is being utilized where it should go. Rest 60% still it's somewhere ending up, which is not the right way to end the tires. Government is coming up with an EPR. It's the similar to EPR of plastic.
Right.
So every manufacturer, every person who is disposing the tires will be responsible to send it to the right recycler, a license holder recycler. That is what now government has realized, that tire is one of the plastic polluter. It's not only the normal plastic, but it's the plastic polluter which is not only harming the air, but somehow harming the water as well. Somehow overall the land pollution as well. So there are various studies which have been done, how they are harming the water, air, and land overall, creating a pollution, which is far, far toxic than the normal plastic which we are using. So as per, if I talk about the other figures, which has been done, the research has been done by Iowa State University, by various universities outside India. The fumes which are coming out of from the tires is 13,000 times more toxic than a fume coming from a coal mine industry.
Oh.
So anybody who's who is any labor, any staff, any person who is working in such kind of environment where tires are burned and the proper process is not taken care, that person has some of the other ailment, and the life is not more than 10 years.
13,000 times.
13,000 times. So it's the, I would say the polluter is the black smoke is what is harming the environment. And it's such an invisible thing for any layman who is living in that particular city or the area or the industry area, that they cannot see what is going out in the air, and they're breathing every fraction of second. The same air goes into their lungs, into their body, and they realize, I think, after certain disease comes up. So it's an invisible thing which will be only noticed once you study all these data and do all kind of research around tires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm inclined to say that Kanpur, from being one of the most pollution-oriented city, is getting companies like yours. One of my other friends over there is Ankit Agarwal from Fool, who also has his manufacturing there of these agarbattis, which are made from waste flowers and going into the rivers otherwise. Yes. So it is him, it is you. So I think the face of Kanpur is going 180-degree transformation with businesses like yours.
Yes, definitely. There are various companies coming. Every day I read there are various companies coming out in the sustainable and sustainable areas, I would say. And so many supportive companies, I would say, are engaging with them, helping them out. Government is helping them out. And probably people like you, small, big wins, are giving us an opportunity to speak about our company. So all these factors will definitely make a change in the future, what I could see. And these small steps, which, and it's a collective effort, I would say. You and me, if come together and not only think about this as a business, but as a whole, as making that place a better place to live, then, and I'm sure the future is bright.
So are some of your customers repeat customers, that they go on keeping buying products for their homes or their offices only from you now?
Yes. So we have a lot of repeat customers which come up and they say that they've never seen such a product, and when they've used that product, it's an amazing product to use. It doesn't, there's no maintenance over there. Hardly there's a breakage there. I can see an everlasting product in my house. I never thought that this tire I will ever keep a tire in my house or outside in my balcony or in my garden. But whoever comes says it's a black leather which you are using. So nobody makes out till the time you touch and feel that product and use that product. So definitely that has actually motivated me to launch a company and commercialize the product and put my effort there from morning till evening.
Well, I have some renovations coming up at home very shortly. So we will be a customer of yours over here to showcase your product. If you don't mind, please tell us something about your family, the family support, the encouragement.
Yes. So without family support, I think you require a support. There again, the support which comes up from my family, my husband, my mother-in-law, my son. It's been everybody. I'm compromising at I'm compromising my time there. I don't give so much of time in the house. My mother-in-law is taking care of the house. She understands that I'm working. So you cannot quantify that kind of support, but you feel so grateful inside that if she would have not understood that I'm full day out and working on a project, or working with for a thing which will take maybe another 1 or 2, 3 years for me to a level where I'll able to devote more time in the house. My husband, who never stops me from doing weird things. So as a designer, as a creative, I do a lot of uh, such things which is not normally acceptable to any of. So anybody would immediately can say that you're wasting your time. But I do so many things, and he being supportive in every area. Me moving out, coming late home, working late till 1 a.m. in the morning. It's not easy, anybody who can see. So running a startup is not that easy, I would say, and you definitely require. Then my son, who's has given his 10th, entered, now going for a JE. He requires so much of time. He always see me making presentations, designing something on the laptop. Even if he's there to speak something, he wants my time, my attention there. I'm not able to give that. Definitely, I feel guilty about it. But he understands at the end of the day. So then what all these small things comes up as a support. My friends, whenever I have any kind of problem, I just pick up my phone, call them, and they're ready to help me 24/7. So I'm really grateful to have a friend and a family circle, which I think it's not normally possible for an entrepreneur.
This is so beautiful, and I think all of them realize the impact which this is creating on our environment. And I think that is a big mover for all of you.
Yeah. They're actually my team. They're not paid for that, but without such a support, I think I would have never been entered into this area of scrap market.
चलिए ठीक है, फिर हम भी आपके आज से छोटे से टीम मेंबर हो जाते हैं.
Yeah. See, there's a struggle always. Female working out, female with a family working out, it's not easy in India. And coming from a Marwari conventional traditional family, again, they've never seen female. Job is something different, but you have either a fixed timing there, you know when to come, when to leave. Or a female entering into a totally different world altogether, running a startup, it's not at all easy in the current scenario as well. Maybe we see people educated enough. We talk about so many literate, so many talks there are there that females are coming up, but at the end of the day, when you see, it's not, still it requires lot of inclusions should be there on a female family supporting the female working out.
Yeah, I think this conversation will help in doing that also. I'm tempted to say that from such an industrial product, you have made poetry out of that. And I was reading this small, I'm not sure if it's a quotation, but it's part of an article from a gentleman called Peter Medawar. And he says, a scientist must indeed be freely imaginative and yet skeptical, creative and yet a critic. There is a sense in which he or she must be free, but another in which his or her thought must be very precisely regimented. There is poetry in science, but there is also a lot of bookkeeping. So when you talked about doing this innovative work and also running a company, I thought, let me leave Peter's very good words with you.
Thanks a lot, Harsh. It was really nice, and in fact, I really loved interacting with you.
Thank you so much, Vaishali. Thank you very much, and look forward to meeting you in person sometime. Thank you.
Sure, definitely. Thank you.